All right, in our first section of geometry for our PAG year, we are looking at the first section, which is 1-1, and we're talking about points, lines, and planes. And those particular terms are actually called undefined terms. It's one of those where you don't necessarily have a strict definition for it. It's more of like a picture. So the first one, a point. What does a point look like? Well, a point just looks like a dot, and it's got a letter associated with it. And how we name it is called point A. So if they ask us, like, what is this right here? I would write point A. The next one is called a line. And we can see here that this is my example of a line. I have a line, and I have 2 points associated with that line, and they're called A and B. And then in front of this little line, I have this little cursive L. And I write that because there's 3 ways that you can name a line. I could name the line AB, which has a line above it with 2 little arrows. Or I could call it line BA, because I could switch the order. The order doesn't matter. Or I could call this line L, and the L has to match this fancy little cursive one. And the thing about lines that's super important is that they must have 2 points. I can't name a line only having 1 point, like right here. I can't just have a point and then say I have a line. I have to have 2 points in order to establish a line. Big, important situation there. And the last one there is a plane. And a plane is like a piece of paper. And I have right here, I have this called plane B. And then I have 3 points inside of here. I have a point A, a D, and an F. So in order to name this plane, there's 2 ways that I could name a plane. I could call it plane B, because this here in the corner, this plane is called B. It doesn't have a point associated with it. It's just saying that this whole piece of paper here is called B. I could also call it plane ADF, so ADF. And again, over here, what's really important about planes is that you actually have to have 3 points in order to establish the plane. So remember, with a line, we have to have 2 points to establish a line, and for a plane, we have to have 3. In the next piece, we have a few terms today, and these are referred to as defined terms. And the first one is a line segment. So a line segment looks kind of like a line, pretty similar, except it doesn't have arrows. They actually end. So here I have an end point and an end point. I don't have arrows shooting out in either direction. I have 2 end points. And again, I could name it line segment AB or line segment BA. I know it's a line segment because up here it just has this little line without any arrows. The next one is a ray. If I'm looking at a ray, notice it only has 1 endpoint. It just has this 1 endpoint right here. So it's shooting, kind of like a ray is shooting over this direction with 1 arrow. So when I name this ray AB, it's really important that I have this endpoint be the same endpoint over here. So notice I didn't write BA because it's not an option for me. This time I can only say AB, ray AB, because that's the direction that it's shooting. The next one here is called opposite rays, and opposite rays happen when I can see kind of like right here, I have ray CA. You can see it's starting right here and it's shooting this direction, ray CA. And then I have ray CB. You can see it's shooting the other direction. And when that happens, it actually creates a line. Those are opposite rays. They kind of like have this same endpoint, but because they're both shooting in the opposite direction, this actually creates a line. All right, and the last 2 pieces today, really important vocabulary. They're going to talk about collinear. Collinear means points that are on the same line. So for instance, I could say these are collinear because they're all on the same line. When they talk about something being coplanar, it means that these points are on the same plane. Those are coplanar because they're all on that same plane or that same piece of paper.